April 14, and we are opening outside of Friday's range with the RTH gap and a gap to settle with inventory 100% long, meaning that from Friday's close, all the action happened about inventory is 100% long. So correction of inventory brings us back to closing the gap and to the 53.92, which is the settlement for Friday, and the point of control also for Friday. So the first thing to look is, I mean, obviously now we're at the top of the range for the overnight session, is to see, do we continue this grinding higher move, test the previous week's high, and finally close this gap above to 55.66, or do we at the open see sellers as usual and then close the gap? If we close the gap and we accept inside value, which is right inside the range, right? If we accept here, then we can see a drop to that 53.92, and then a continuation would put us. Let me see if I can make this bigger. It's kind of hard to see here, but let me see if I can put this other chart here. On the TPO, it's easier to see. So you have this right here. So this is the afternoon break, right? On the afternoon, we broke out of the range we were trading on, and then left this thin area above halfback, and then we kind of started one-time framing higher and we were grinding higher for pretty much the whole rest of the day. Close here. So if we come down inside the range, we're likely going to see some support here in this area, the 53.40 area, which is halfback. So if that doesn't hold, then value area is right here, 53.11. So that will be the value area sweep that usually happens when you come back inside value, accept inside value, then we see a sweep through value. So now if we come back here and then reject, then I will be willing to go long above yesterday's high to see if we can resume this up move and take the previous week's high and then close that gap. If you look at the longer term profile, you can see that the 20-day point of control hasn't shifted and it's still up here at 56, 58-ish. Even after all that drop and all the time and volume that we spend down here, the 20-day point of control hasn't shifted. So if we're able to close the gap and then accept inside this session's range, then that is going to become the magnet. But you know, still things are uncertain in the macro world, so anything could happen. And remember, we still have volatilities pretty high and ranges are pretty big. Also, although now today volatility came down a lot, so we could easily also chop around here and stayed inside this range without being able to break the previous week's high. So that's a scenario too. NQ, very similar, except that it doesn't have that gap. That gap was filled already. On that day that we had the big up move, it closed both gaps. The gap here was way smaller. Both gaps are closed. So if we take the previous week's high, then the target is the 19,600 area. And then below, of course, similar to ES, but the difference here with the ES is that during the overnight session, You can see that ES was able to close the gap. NQ hasn't. So NQ didn't close that RTH gap yet. So in the case that we start dropping and we are unable to continue this up move, then I'm gonna be looking for NQ to close this gap and to come back to that high volume node, which is at 18.810. The other thing to notice is that limit down for today is inside the previous week's low. I'm not saying that I don't think that we're gonna get there today, but it's pretty interesting because of those huge ranges that we had. We have limit down inside the previous week's range, which doesn't happen very often. It's just something to note. I don't think we're gonna go unless there's some kind of news that triggers some big sell-off. I don't think we're getting there yet. Crude is in balance. You can see the range very clearly here. If we don't break and hold above 64, we're probably gonna come back down to this area, the 62, 6150, 62 area, and then all this is accepting and 59 is support. So if we take down 59 and come back above it, then probably gonna trade back and forth in this range. Gold still holding up here, and now it's looking like it wants to fill that RTH gap. This is pit hours, so that gap closes at 31.94 and 30 cents, and if we get inside that range, the point of control is still down here at 31.50. Also remember, this week is a shorter week. We have Good Friday, Easter Friday, and we have a bunch of Fed speaking today. Between noon and 1 p.m. I think that's about it for today. Good luck.